Hey there, welcome. Today's video is about I-Am-ness versus emptiness. I think at the core of it is mostly a semantic difference, and at the same time I think the core of it is what the person needs in that moment to realize the one current reality, which isn't one in relation to two or zero, it's just this. A one beyond relation, beyond contrast or comparison. And so I want to talk about issues with both. So issues with I-Am-ness, the obvious ones are that we experience some attached sense of separation, of difference between other beings. And this is both actually happening and at the same time it's a mirage. It's like an illusion. It's like we're just making it happen. We just don't realize we're making it happen. Secondly, that sense of separation, that sense of some kind of individual reality, is very easy to attach to I am, like almost like capital I am. And that can be an issue with I am meditations, with the more Hindu non-duality. Atman is Brahman, or true self or soul is God or reality. However, this exact same thing can happen with anything. We just get attached. We get into this separation. So emptiness, or Anatta in Buddhism, can become the same exact thing, like some superior quality or some separate quality from existence normally. Some, beyond state. Something that I achieved. I achieved separation, beyond separation, or I achieved the state of emptiness. When it's the same thing in the end. This sense of limitation that isn't true reality that we just cling to for a bit. And it's always only going to be for a bit, because love and God and infinity are inescapable. But then emptiness, the problem with emptiness is that it doesn't mean anything. Emptiness itself is empty. It doesn't matter. It's completely useless. And that's also its benefit, because we strive for some extra, some specific, some state, some bliss, some joy, some tantric kundalini enlightenment, electricity, some sense of love and tears and catharsis. We strive for an image, and then that can fail. And that can happen in emptiness too. We get this image or idea of emptiness, maybe even a memory of what we would call emptiness, and then we're just recreating or striving for this another limited reality that we get to make. And the issue with emptiness is that, well, it's not. It just isn't. It's not empty. It's this. Existence is. Whether you want to agree about parts being parts or not, like things being things, regardless of that, there's at least this. And so emptiness doesn't account for that well. It becomes a kind of useless word. And at the same time, I am, while it doesn't account for it perfectly, it accounts for it better, because, well, yeah, we are. This is. There's no escaping it. Reality is this beginningless, endless thing, and it's here. And it's here forever. It's never not. And so, any argument about emptiness or I-Am-ness in the kind of Buddhist Hindu fields, or Buddhist Dzogchen and Hindu advaita, also pointless, because regardless of you using words like emptiness, this is here. So it's kind of not empty. Regardless of us trying to use words like I am, well, yeah, duh. That's it. All right, move along, right? Like, we don't have to like repeat it a billion times. Some will, and that's just part of infinitying, but reality's so undescript. Reality's so unpredictable, in essence. So filled with possibility that these might and are not the point. They might not be the point at times, other times they might be, but overall, it's like, is it empty or is it full? Dude, do the dishes. This is what you see in Chan Buddhism. You know, you see someone asking Joshu or Zhaozhu, what's the truth of existence? Why did Bodhidharma come to China? Like, what is the truth of, Buddhism? Like, dude, go wash your bowl. Like, you finished eating, go wash your bowl. And you see this all the time in the Zen koans, this like profound question, philosophical, and they're like, dude, eat some hemp. Like, what's the truth of reality? Like, it's just the oak tree outside. What do you, like, just go sit by the oak tree. And that's kind of, when you have at least some sense of the view, you get that makes sense. That makes sense because it's like, it's not I am or empty. It doesn't, these almost don't matter. I think terminology wise, the benefit of emptiness is when people have too many concepts, they have too many beliefs about thingness, about like differences in reality of something. It's like, if this little S pen has so much reality in our mind because it's black and has contours and it's physical, then emptiness can be good because it helps us detract that inherently illusory evaluation. And then if other things are filled with almost like anti-existence, like air, we don't see it, we don't think about it, we kind of know it, but it has this almost in a contrast, like compared to solids, compared to things that really matter to us, we have things that have like a lack of existence, a lack of value, a lack of attention placed on them. And this big inequality of what holds reality or not, what holds existence or not, different levels of existence, different levels of importance and value. Emptiness really summarizes that. No, that none of that is the case for any of that stuff. None of that, like those things are just a trick of the mind. They're not even in there. It's empty of all that. And they get to the point of where even our perception of physical reality and sense data is also empty because reality is beyond sense data. And so the meaning and the importance we give to things because of sense data is also just a trick of the mind. A deeper mind, what we'd call like maybe an evolutionary mind attached to this biology and adaptation, one way to describe it, even if that's not the full story, it's empty of that too. And that's going to be a hard state for most of us to get to, because we're going to walk around and still see colors and light, and we're going to feel things. But that's where the I-Am-ness comes in a good way, is that, okay, maybe it's all a trick of the mind, but maybe even me thinking it's a trick of the mind is also empty. So it's just here, but with, ubiquitously infinite, equal value to all other aspects of existence. But then that's what I-Am-ness is good, because it is. Like, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. It's like, yes, it's empty of, certain interpretations being real, certain beliefs of thingness. But at the end of the day, we still have to recognize in an authentic way this. And the more we do that equally, and that's what I-Am-ness is about, it's about seeing how the infinity of existence permeates all things equally. And so I am is, this is, God is, everything is, we are. And so just a way to frame our consciousness, if we do have these different battling perceptions about I-Am-ness or emptiness, if we have a hierarchy of one or the other, if one has entered our life more than the other, in the end, they both have infinite value and infinite error. And really, we're just here. So, thank you so much for watching. Om Sai Ram.